Hi guys, welcome back to the podcast. This is Alex Vieira and we are talking about emotional regulation for kids. Yay! So I've taught all ages emotional regulation, like a whole daycare of 2, 3, and 4-year-olds, teenagers who have autism and are non-speaking. So you name it, I've done it. And it is such a beautiful, it's so beautiful just to be able to hold space for these kids and their emotions. And it's really about, first of all, being safe for them, to being a safe person so they can, totally be themselves, and express their emotions, and then modeling it. That's huge. As a therapist, I modeled my feelings a lot. And that's how kids learn. So let's dive in. And this is great. This is a great episode if you work with kids, if you are a grandparent and you're like, what the heck do I do with these kids' feelings? And if you're a parent, okay, any age. So first, and if you go back to the prior episodes on emotional regulation for us adults, the first point, and it's going to be the first one, is ride the wave, okay? Children have very big feelings, like so big that it physically comes out of their body, like the exorcism. They're just like, ah. My kids do this. I think I do it when I'm really mad. I like ball my fist and I'm just like, oh God, like it's gotta come out. So with kids, it's big, right? Because they can't regulate, right? They start learning how to really self-regulate until like 6 or 7. That's why this work is so important. If your kid is before the age of 7, you need to jump on it, because kids are either going to learn to express or repress emotions. And by 7, it's kind of built in. But it's never too late. It's never too late. If you have teenagers and you're like, oh my gosh, it's too late. It's not. Okay? It's not. Trust me. Because we're all like in our 30s and 40s starting this work now. So it's never too late. But first one, okay, I'm not a little ADHD. I'm super ADHD. So I'm going to go off track, but I promise I always come back. Okay? All right, so first one is ride the wave. Let your children ride the wave. Let them be upset. If they're mad, if they throw themselves on the floor and you're out in public and you're like, oh my gosh, like let them ride the wave. Don't try to distract them from their feelings. Oh, wait, don't cry. I'll give you a lollipop if you stop. Like so many parents do that. And it's because we're uncomfortable with their big feelings, so we just stop it. But ride the wave of their emotions. Let them experience it. It's teaching their little nervous system, this emotion is safe and I can experience it, right? And riding the wave takes 1 to 2 minutes. So they're there in front of you. Let's just use an example. I told my daughter to turn the TV off, right? This is a big one. You have 5 minutes, 4 minutes, 3 minutes. Okay, I need you to turn it off or I'm going to turn it off, right? So I always turn it off. I turn off the TV and there it goes. Explosion. Ah! And throwing stuff, throwing the body on the ground. It's big, it's explosive, and I'm just going to sit there and I'm going to let it happen. If it's okay, like if it's unsafe, like if she's trying to hurt me or hurt herself or like destroy the house, we have to stop it. But let them ride the wave of emotion. And the number one thing is to make sure you're regulated, because if you're about to lose it too, this is not going to work. Walk away and take some deep breaths. Like, you cannot help your kids if you don't help yourself first. So you have to be regulated. That's why we have to put in the work first. So make sure you're okay. Like, if your child's behavior is really making you lose it, take deep breaths in front of them. Okay? Or if you're just, if you have to take a step away, do that. But that's how I model, because we have to model this stuff. That's why we have to put in the work first. They're going to learn from us. So my child's having a big tantrum, big feelings. I'm going to let them experience that. And I'm going to take some deep breaths, right? Co-regulation. Let them experience that if they're not hurting themselves or someone else. And then after a minute or two, after they've gotten most of it out, you're going to validate and say, hey, I know you're mad at me for turning the TV off, but it was time to turn the TV off. You were so mad. It's okay to be mad. Really validate that. Sometimes all you need is the validation, and the kid's like, oh, cool, she gets it. She knows how I feel. And then they're done. Sometimes it's just a validation that you need, that they need. So you validate the experience. You're mad. It's okay to be mad. Or your sister took your toy. That wasn't fair. That wasn't nice. So validate the experience after you let them feel that feeling. And a lot of times, this is point number 3, we have to set a boundary because, right, like our kid might try to hit us or break something. That's when you set a boundary like, hey, you can be mad, but you cannot kick mama. Or like, you cannot throw that. It's okay to be mad, but you can't do it. What's another way we can get these big feelings out? And then you problem solve. Okay, so it's let them ride the wave, validate their feelings, set a boundary, okay? Because kids need boundaries. We can't let them do whatever they want when they want. Like, their tiny little brains are very far from fully developed. So they need us to set the boundary. Like, mama's job is to keep you safe, and you can't do that when you're mad. It's okay to be mad. So how can we get the mad out? That's number 4 is problem solving. If your kid is 2 and 3 years old, you're not going to get like a reciprocated, like, hey, what can we do? But you can show them like, I'm so mad. Like for a room of 2-year-olds, this is what I would do. Like, she took my toy. I'm so mad. Stomping your feet, clenching your fists. I don't like that. She took my toy. And then the kids are like, whoa, okay, cool. Yeah, she gets it. And that's modeling. I teach little kids how to advocate for their feelings, right? When kids are like, teacher, mom, they did this. And I'm just like, go tell them. Go tell me you didn't like it and tell me you want your toy back. Kids at age 2, they can start doing this stuff on their own, okay? It is such a great skill for kids to be able to advocate for themselves. That's why we have to validate their emotions. So they can be like, you made me mad, or you took my toy. I don't like that. And this skill that we're teaching our kids is going to protect them, maybe from not so great stuff happening. I don't want to go there because, but like, I know my kids are hopefully not going to be ever taken advantage of because they know how, they have a voice. They're 2 and 5 and they have strong voices. And they tell people how they feel. They tell people what they don't want. So this is how it starts. It starts with us validating their emotions and us modeling it for them. And that's really the best we can do is to model. So, right, you're cleaning a dish and something smashes and you're like, I'm so frustrated. Oh, and then you model you regulating yourself, taking the deep breaths. Don't ever tell your kid to take a deep breath, okay? Just start doing it and they will copy. Like, have you ever had someone tell you to calm down or take a deep breath? Like, I think it does the complete opposite. I do this in front of my husband. I can see that he's about to lose it with the kids and I just start taking a deep breath. Co-regulation works with anybody, no matter the age. So remember that. Start taking deep breaths. Don't tell them to take deep breaths and calm down. You be calm, and then your regulation is going to co-regulate them. That's how it starts. And a lot of times our kids' behaviors can dysregulate us, right? Like, you can be like zen, you had the best day, you're so regulated, and your kid loses it in Walmart, and then you lose it, right? It's so easily just dysregulate and go into a fight or flight response. Okay, so let's review. Number 1, regulate yourself when your kids are having big feelings, okay? Let them ride the wave if it's safe. Give them a minute or 2 to feel those big feelings. Validate their feelings. Set a boundary and problem solve, okay? And remember, don't let them isolate and be alone. My daughter has this habit now of like screaming and yelling and then running and slamming her door. I think most girls do this. Feels like a teenage thing already. I'm like, no, not yet. It's happening. But I don't let her isolate. I don't want her to do that. I want her to know that it's okay to have your big feelings around someone, especially a safe person. So she'll slam the door. I know that's her big release. Boom. You know, like they need the release. I slam the door. I'll give her a minute or two, and then I go in there. And sometimes she won't let me in. And that's normal. When we're feeling something big, we might not want someone intruding. I'd be like, I know you want your space, but I'm right here if you need me. And I try to stay in a place where she can see me. Maybe I just go like across the room, and I'm not staring at her, but I'm here if you need me. And a lot of times we see this with teenagers. They're like, well, my kid wants nothing to do with me. They ignore me. You know, they're mad at me. They don't want to see me or talk to me. This is when our children need us the most, when they push us away. And that is really hard. Okay? So letting your kids know I'm here. When they're young, physically be there so they can see you. And if they're older, I mean, a lot of times they may not reach out, but you can do the same thing. You could sit there and be like, I'm right here, or I'm on the other side of this door when you're ready, and I'm going to come back in a few minutes. We don't want to get our kids in the habit of isolating when they have those big feelings, because that's something a lot of us did. And we have to reach out. We have to have community and safe people. And if you have young kids, use visuals. Visuals are really great. If you have like a calm down corner, I'll put everything in the show notes, or just reach out to me and I'll send you all the printouts. I love visuals. So a lot of kids like the feeling faces. Like, we have something called zones of regulation. It's actually like evidence-based and it's standardized, which us OTs love that stuff. But it's the blue zone is tired, sad. There's green zone. There's yellow, which is like getting dysregulated. I'm really silly. I'm frustrated. And then there's red zone. And then there's feelings and emotions. Kids love those visuals. I have it on my fridge. And you could even create a calm down corner, that with favorite fidgets and a comfy place to sit. That's a good alternative to timeout. I mean, if you need to like put your kid away just so everyone regulates, be like, you know, just go sit in calm down corner. I'll be there in a minute. But I think that's a better alternative to timeout. And that's something we can talk about later. But I hope that was helpful. If you guys have questions, let me know. Bye, guys.